against a big hitter in Murphy. Of course, a short match. By the time he was sort of getting to grips with conditions, the match was over, but it would have stood him in good stead, I think. He didn't, by any means, disgrace himself in that one.
Just thinking, you know, Dave, we were at the Champion of Champions, as you said last night, the ultimate one-table event. Now it's 8 tables. That's one of the great assets of snooker. So many different formats, and if you pop along here, you can take your pick which matches you want to see, pop in and out. There's always something going on.
There's always a story, isn't there? As Ryan Thompson tries to get into the reds, he's missed the blue, though. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get the pack. So he got away with that, really. Oh, not the flick behind the yellow. Well, that's very lucky, really. A, not to get into the reds, and B, where the whites finished. And Ben would have noted that already, I'm sure. He may be able to get the side of the pack. Even if he can't, he should be okay to roll into them. Yep. Well, I say that. He's gone past them. Now, don't want to go too far past and leave the red on. Wow, what a blunder that is.
That really is, because it was a wide target. And of course, the pace as well. You know, there's all of the cliches in snooker. Winning is a habit. Yes, it is. But losing is as well. If you get on a downward spiral in this game, it can be very difficult to turn around.
As I say, Thomason was a little lucky to leave the white where he did. Well, having said all that, he's missed the blue now, so it didn't cost Ben too much. And if he takes this red on to right corner, he's going to be splitting them, so quite a big shot. Oliver Lyons in the background. He's on table 3 against Long Xihang of China. Yeah, he's going to be opening reds up, so you've got to get this one. So let's see if Ben Woollaston can put something together. I was looking back at his results. He's not won a match actually since September the 1st, in the first qualifying round of the Wuhan Open. So here we are, sort of getting on for late November. It's been a rather disappointing run of results for him.
One thing he's got to tell himself is that in terms of what he's achieved in the game, it far outstrips what Thomason has achieved so far.
Just while we watch Ben here, just on the other matches, there's 8 tables. We've got Tian Pengfei against Alexander Ursenbacher, Oliver Lyons, Long Xihang, Mark Joyce, Ulian Boyko, all live on Discovery Plus. And also Sanderson Lam against Andy Lee, Ashley Hugel against Dean Young, Lucas Kleckers against Rod Lawler, and Lou Hongyu against Martin O'Donnell. He was here. Martin got taken off, didn't he? He was here late last night in the previous round and then back on this morning. like any match, just looking to settle down as early as possible, make a nice break and just be involved in the match. It is best of 11. It's relatively long distance these days. Everyone, of course, hoping to get to York, the lovely Barbican Arena, to host the televised phase from Saturday. 32 players there, so the top 16 get seeded through and they play the 16 qualifiers. There'll be a draw to see who plays who on Thursday. Ben Woollaston's best run in the UK was actually 2 years ago. He got to the last 16. Ooh, that red wriggled in. He needs ranking points. On the end of season provisional rankings, he's 57. Remember, only the top 64 stay on, so you don't want to be looking at that and already thinking about, you know, possible relegation or having to go to the World Championship to get a win. You want to try and build up the points before then, and this is a big money tournament.
Yes, you might be thinking, well, it's only late November, the season ends in early May, which is true, but that threat of going to Q school looms large for many players. And when they've secured their tour card for the following season, then they can play with a little more freedom.
Oh dear, well now, there's lots of things there. He's missed the red, he's gone in off, the red's gone over the pocket, so it's a triple whammy, actually. Couldn't have gone any worse, that shot.
Just 1 point the difference. So if Thomason can take 4 reds, 4 blacks, Woollaston would need a snooker. Oh, another dagger in the heart of poor old Ben. He thought that was going to stay on the table, so did I, and he just about flopped in.
Yeah, it's been quite a dramatic opening frame, this, and Ryan Thomason now with the chance to win it.
Now does either red pot? If they do, pressure shot coming up. Mind you, I think this match, every shot will be a pressure shot for both, particularly Woollaston. Well, nicely done in terms of the pot, but the other red is now blocking the black.
Thompson 70.
Lots of things in Thomason's favour now. Cue ball glued under that ball cushion, and also the fact that green and pink are close together, which reduces the chance of a Woollaston clearance should he get the opportunity. Just to put you in the picture, what's happening today? Well, basically, it's the end of the second qualifying round. That's this morning and this afternoon. And then the third and penultimate qualifying round starts tonight. Featured this afternoon, we're going to see Ken Doherty against Dwayne Jones, the 1997 world champion, up against a Welshman who's already won a match in the tournament. And then this evening, a real treat. It's the highest ranked player required to qualify, Deng Junhui against Daniel Wells.
It could be a free ball if he doesn't hit it, but he has done. But then it's where it all lands up. The colours all in kind of strange positions, but got some sort of chance at this. Yeah, nicely done. Be unlucky to be on nothing. He's got the knuckle. Yeah, it's not great, is it, really?
You're right, he was unlucky. Dropping in the middle of nowhere, the cue ball. So he's 17 ahead. Oh, no, don't say that the cue ball went on a slate there. Can't imagine he misjudged it to that extent. It must have veered off.
Well, in some ways it's been a sort of archetypal qualifying frame. It can be very nervy and a lot of incident, and there's plenty left in this yet, by the way. 15 in it. Not exactly ideal here.
Just thinking where that last shot was that Thomason failed to lay the snooker. Might not have been a slate, possibly a finger mark, although it's still the first frame, so that's unlikely. Oh, Ben misses the green, but at least he gains cover, Dave. This really, as you say, is a nervy, nervy beginning. That was the intrinsic problem. To pot the green, he had to make a thin contact, and by trying that, it was risky. Always the opportunity to miss the green completely. What's more, he's left a free ball. Referee Bart Turnell calling that.
It's like they've started with the decider, isn't it? It's been a very edgy frame. He can get through to the green for all of that. Well, like I say, Phil, it's like he's 5 each, isn't it, this? Potted it, snooged himself on the brown.
Well, if it carries on like this, it probably will be 5 each, because both have had chances to take a grip. Both have wasted those chances, including that.
Well, like I say, for those of you watching, wherever you're watching, do let us know where you are watching this. If you're in Australia or if you're in Leicester, wherever you are, you can contact us across the World Snooker Tour socials. At WeAreWST on Twitter is the easiest. At WeAreWST, you can contact me at Dave Hendon. That's at Dave Hendon. And we are interested to know who you think is going to win this UK Championship. Could it be a qualifier this year, or will it be one of the big hitters? Do let us know. Any other questions or comments you have throughout the day are welcome. And this afternoon and this evening there will be competitions to win tickets to York for the UK Championship.
To win this first frame, Thomas needs brown and blue. I'll tell you what, that was very nicely cued indeed. That was a confidence booster.
I think he's looked a little more assured of the two in this match. You know, he's won a match, as we've said, and Ben is struggling for form a little bit. So, this blue's frame ball, and in it goes. So, 2 good pots from Ryan Thomason after a rather, well, frantic frame of snooker, really. But you do get this in these qualifiers. It's such a big prize, I think, to get through to York and be part of that big show. It was terrific last year with the 2 tables there. And Ryan Thomason claims first blood in this match. Ben Woollaston already just under it a little bit. Made a few errors there. I mean, he potted that green, didn't get on the brown. Now, of course, tickets are still available. Some tickets are still available for the Barbican. It's sold out for a lot of sessions, but there are sessions that do have availability from just £22. And for the first time in York, there are VIP packages available as well from the quarterfinals onwards, including a 3-course meal, the best seats in the house, a photo with the trophy, and much more. So do check out World Snooker Tour tickets page for that. And if you can get along, it's a terrific city. Never mind the snooker. The snooker's great, obviously, but the actual environment, if you want to spend a few days, absolutely lovely part of the world. Your ears pricked up when I said 3-course meal there, Phil.
Yeah, well, you know me. Don't mind what you call me as long as you call me for my dinner.
Well, meanwhile, Mark Joyce has won the opening frame against Ilyan Boyko, a Ukrainian who, of course, has been on the tour trying to get back on. And Lucas Kleckers of Germany has won the first against Rod Lawler. They're the other frames that have finished so far. We will go into some more detail in the interval on some of the other matches here. And, well, I'm going to put you on the spot, Phil. I've been asking people for their predictions for the UK Championship. What do you reckon? I mean, it's very hard, isn't it? You know, we've got such terrific players now, but do you have any any thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm a great believer in that players are due. Top players tend to win 1-2 tournaments a season, and the really top guys, if they've had a lull, that's when they're dangerous for me. So my pick would be Mark Selby. I think he's due. I think Judd Trump has had so much success in the first half of the season that maybe he's just a little tired at the moment, because it does take out of you an awful lot mentally. Luca Brissell, the world champion, clearly not firing at all. Ronnie O'Sullivan, well, clearly he's not at his best either. I'm going for Selby.
Very definitive answer. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? You know, make a claim for a lot of people. I do think, I mean, there's more strength in depth than ever, but that includes the top 16. You can see people, obviously Barry Hawkins, Ali Carter, these sort of guys that play some good stuff. You know, you could see them doing well in it. And of course, we've got now Tom Ford and Zhang Anda have joined the top 16 as well. They'll be seeded. We will see. Let us know. Do contact us at WeAreWST at Dave Hendon. Let us know who you think is going to triumph this year. Meantime, Ben Woollaston to get frame 2 underway. The winner of this match plays Chow Yu Peng. That'll be in the penultimate round of qualifying. And then Wednesday and Thursday we have the Judgement Day. The 4 tables will be going round all the 4 tables to bring you all the action.
The MrQ UK Championship is always one of the highlights of the snooker calendar, and this year, if you follow the World Snooker Tour website, well, throughout the championship on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok, you can see match clips, interviews, behind the scenes content and much more. And by the way, look out for the MrQ Q Challenge, which offers the chance to win a brand new cue manufactured by the maestro, John Paris.
Well, we have had a gentleman watching in Australia, Luke Hudson. Says, I've been playing snooker for 6 months. It's great to be able to watch this match. Well, good to have you with us, Luke. I know it's obviously night time in Australia, but I'm sure you're cheering Ryan on.
Yes, and congratulations on winning the World Cup yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. A bit of an upset at the cricket, I guess. This is sort of a snooker Ashes battle, isn't it? England, Australia.
Ryan Thomason earned his place on the tour last year by winning the Asia Pacific Open Snooker Championship at the Mounties Club in New South Wales, and he beat fellow countryman Justin Sage in the final. And talking about World Cups, Sage has represented Australia in the World Cup of Pool on several occasions. Doesn't deserve the in-off. Oh, just avoided. You know, Dave was telling me before we started today that there have been 30 centuries in qualifying for the UK Championship already. The quality here is terrific. We've had a 147, lots and lots of big breaks, but also the fascination with qualifying snooker, watching matches like this where an established player is trying to regain his mojo like Ben Woollaston.
Hello to Shahan Aziz watching from Pakistan on Facebook. He says, I'm rooting for everyone, especially the commentators. You people are the best. Well, we've got the easy job, I think, Shahan, but thank you. We get to enjoy this coverage. The real pressure, of course, is out in the middle, particularly like with Ben when you've been on a bad run and you're just desperate to get a result. One result can literally transform things. If you can get some security, some points in the bag, we know what a terrific player he can be. From a real hotbed here in Leicester, of course, where he learnt his trade alongside the likes of Tom Ford, Mark Selby and many other juniors who travelled around the country. Judd Trump would be one. There's Alex Ursenbacher in the background from Switzerland. He's on table 2. And that match actually against Tian Pengfei is being refereed by Tatiana Woollaston, who of course will be, as she is always ultra professional, she will be focusing only on her own match. But her husband here, of course, he's playing on table 1.
Yeah, because she's so very good at her job. She's been going deeper in tournaments than Ben this season.
Thompson 4.
But I must tell you a potted history of Woollaston, just to put into perspective what a fine player he is. He won his first professional title at a PTC event in 2011, overcoming a former world champion, Graham Dott. He has played at the Crucible. In 2015, he got to the Welsh Open final, beating the likes of Mark Allen, Ali Carter and Mark Williams. He eventually lost out to John Higgins for the title. That same year, he made a 147 in the Lisbon Open in Portugal. He was a semi-finalist at the Riga Open. And just 2 years ago in this very same MrQ UK Championship, he reached the last 16, beating en route Yan Bingtao. Also nearly became a big part of snooker history when the COVID-19 pandemic hit. The game shut down for a few months. The first tournament back was behind closed doors in Milton Keynes. It was the Matchroom.live Championship League. And Ben Woollaston came very close to winning it. It was only an inspired century by Luca Bracella in the final frame that prevented him from lifting the trophy. Well, who could begrudge Ben Woollaston a little bit of luck? I think, though, the operative words were a little bit. Look where the cue ball finished.
Green ball. And what's the one?
Also involved, together with Woollaston in the regulation dogfight, is Mark Joyce. Good stuff in his match so far. He started off with a break of 77 this morning against Julian Boyko, but the youngster has just equalised with a century.
Looking to beat the yellow there, so may have left a long red on. We've had a couple of messages. Darren Harris says hi to you and Phil. Well, I'm watching here in Great Yarmouth. It's great to have commentary on qualifying. Being totally blind, I need that. So now I can watch the qualifiers too. Well, it's great to have you with us, Darren. And Graham McNally watching in Dublin. He says, my pick for the UK Championship is Mark Selby, sleeping giant at the moment. He'll bounce back. Very much echoing Phil's prediction as well. To keep your thoughts coming in. Ooh, it was a chance, but it didn't wriggle in.
Of course, the one name that no one's mentioning is Neil Robertson, who is simply brilliant at this game. A fellow countryman and a really good friend of Ryan Thomason's, who might be watching us at the moment. If Neil Robertson plays his best, well, I think the engraver might want to start work right now. The problem is he's not been playing his best of late. Let's hope he bounces back, because when Robertson's doing well, the game's doing well.
You like to think it will happen, but it's so tough, isn't it? You know, you lose. I think players are so sharp right now. You look at Trump and Allen last night in the Champion of Champions. You just lose just a little bit of pace. It's hard to get it back. Luca Brissell maybe is in the same boat at the moment, having taken a few tournaments off. Anyway, of course, they'll be seeded next week. They don't know who they're going to play yet until Thursday when the draw's made. It's slightly awkward. It seems everything's coming a bit awkward right now for Ben. But in it goes.
I think Woollaston's predicament is covered by that famous quote. You've got to play as though it means nothing when it means everything. He has to find some form of freedom. Can't be too restricted, too nervous, because if he is, those inhibitions will scupper him. But of course, sitting here, all of that's so much easier to say than do.
Exactly, yeah. But he's made it tough stuff. Now then, Ben, again, he's having to get all the long stuff out here. Just trying to put something together and just get his hand on the table, pot a few, get the rhythm going. The first frame was a bit fractious.
8.
Only made 2 centuries this season, you know, it's quite a few matches played. But anyway, this is a chance.
We just mentioned, Dave, that
14.
his most high-profile success was getting to the final of the Welsh Open, Ben Woollaston, and he'll be going back to Wales for the shootout. That's in Swansea at the start of December. Great atmosphere, that event. Unique atmosphere, actually. Tickets just £20. And I'm led to believe the venue is simply top-notch.
Yeah, it's a new venue, as you say. It'll be lively. It's always lively at the shootout, but just before Christmas, especially so, you can check out tickets for all events, wst.tv/tickets. That's wst.tv/tickets. All the information for all these tournaments are on there. We met a few people last night, didn't we, at Bolton, who were just saying how much they enjoyed just being in the audience and, you know, getting involved in the atmosphere, and you do feel like you're really part of it when you're sat there, because it can get very tense, very exciting, and who knows, you may see at some point a bit of history.
Yeah, the hospitality in Bolton was tremendous, and it will be also in the famed Century Club, that luxury package that's available at both the Masters and the World Championship. And you know, at this time of year, Dave, if you buy that package, it's a great Christmas present. Can you imagine? Christmas morning, oh, what have you got me for Christmas? Well, how about a day at the Masters or the World Championship?
Yeah, brilliant. As I say, live experience, and people love watching on TV and on streaming, but the live experience, if you've never experienced it, it's well worth doing. Now Ben Woollaston, meantime, hopes to be in one of these events as a player, of course. And he's ploughing on here. There's a bit of work to be done yet. The Reds not in great positions, are they? But he's building a lead at least.
For Woollaston right now, all donations gratefully accepted.
That's nicely done. He's developed that red. He's got a very good grounding in snooker, hasn't he? Having been brought up here in Leicester. In all seriousness, very few places in the UK would be better to be from if you're a snooker player, because they had access to, of course, Willie Thorne Snooker Centre, run by Willie's late brother Malcolm, with all those junior competitions. So they weren't just playing snooker, they were learning how to win and lose. They were playing tournaments, toughening themselves up. So many of those kids who played in those events are now professionals, and many of them have gone on to really succeed, become world champions.
Well, Woollaston, I think the family were originally from near London, but they moved here because the scene was so vibrant in Leicester.
There's Oliver Lyons there, keeping watch on table 3. He's 1-0 up on Long Juhang.
43.
Well, he's covered the black, I think. Yeah, a little shake of the head, just as things were looking up. Well, he's looking at the yellow, I think. No, he's gonna play safe. Thought for a moment he might push the boat out, but maybe try and push the green safe-ish here. Which it isn't really,
43.
but anyway, he's got a 36-point lead. A lot of mileage in this frame yet, where the Reds are.
Yeah, quite often a 36-point lead with this many Reds on the table. You're still looking a little vulnerable, but it's a really good lead for Woollaston, where the balls are now placed. And he'll be ignoring the two Reds together close to the left-hand side cushion. The lone red as well. Doesn't want to move those at any cost. Sometimes they offer the best available safety, but then you're still reluctant to take them off the cushions. They decided that it was worth his while, but I'm not so sure. Well, maybe playing that safety shot off the red under the cushion has been vindicated.
Well, this attempt at this pot will tell us a little bit, I think, about how he's feeling. He's the sort of pot you'd hope to knock in hand on table. But let's see, 40 in front, it's a chance to go on and win the frame. Nicely done. Actually, not the best kiss in the end. A thinner kiss on that blue would have been nice.
Yeah, he played the red with check side to avoid careering into other balls, just in case he missed it. And I think that's the mindset, isn't it, when you're in his kind of rut? You're not thinking about the good things that would happen if you knock a ball in. You're thinking about the bad things that would happen if you miss it.
Yeah, he's still on this to the middle, but it's just controlling things here, and yeah, caught the green, white on the cushion, so he's in clearly the driver's seat. He's 46 in front, there's red safe, but it's about killing the frame off. Good pot. Again, it's difficult to control position, but he's taken 8 points off the table, if nothing else. I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to seeing next Phil Jusseur, because of course he made a maximum yesterday. Now there's a new initiative been brought in. Anyone who makes 2 147 breaks in the 3 Triple Crown events, the UK, the Masters, and the World Championship, will get a bonus of 147,000 plus the high break prize. So next time he plays and he's, you know, sort of 5 reds, 5 blacks, there'll be a lot of interest there, not least for him.
Well, I think with 147,000 on the line, I think if he pots 2 reds and 2 blacks, he'll start thinking about it.
Well, you often hear commentators, and we're guilty of it, saying the frame's the most important thing. Well, we'll see about that, I think, next time he plays, if he gets the chance. But it's a very interesting, well, opportunity, incentive for people to go for 147s.
All joking apart, I think it's an absolutely terrific idea. Wholeheartedly support that. It's going to provide a lot of thrills.
Yeah, it's up to well, 6, isn't it? I mean, one player could have 6. That seems unlikely, but certainly. And Jusseur's done it already. If someone else makes one in this tournament, then, you know, over the 3 events. Of course, not everyone's in the Masters, but equally, there's a lot of frames to play in the UK and the World Championship qualifying. So it's definitely on the mind of 1 or 2 players. Right now, Ben Woollaston just wants to win this frame. If it takes a 20 break from here, he'd take that.
Yeah, I think, given his lead, I think he would settle for making a 1, a 4, and then a 7. Everyone knows about the glamour side of snooker, the big finals, the capacity crowds, the newspaper headlines, TV exposure. But you don't get there, you don't get that without enduring this first. And endure is a good word, because mentally you need endurance to overcome the setbacks to be able to get the success.
Well, everyone in the game started in the qualifiers, including the greats, Ronnie O'Sullivan at the Norbreck in Blackpool, John Higgins, Mark Williams in that golden summer in 1992. Anyway, chance here for Ben. Good pot. And surely he's going to take the black on here and again take the 7 points. Black or pink. If you could land on that red to the middle, then chance to kill the frame off. Black it is. Could hold the cue ball, so suddenly it's looking like 1 each. 55 in front with 59 on, so this red is frame ball. It's been a bit stop-start this frame, but once he got the lead with the ball, with several balls safe, he was favourite. It's just a question of killing it off. Looks like he's done that. Well, he'll be just happy to have a frame on the board, and involved in the match now.
Yeah. 16.
Pretty good response this, because it wasn't just losing the first frame, he had chances. Eventually Thomason potted brown and blue to shade it, but Woollaston has definitely equalised.
Yeah, just gets the chance now to just relax a bit, pot a few, get the cue on going.
33.
I think a year ago he would have been quite a big favourite for this match. Thomason would have been new on tour then, but results of late make him less of a sort of favourite.
40.
He's enjoyed some quality table time in this frame, though. I think that will do him the power of good.
Foul.
Oh, he didn't see the white. The referee was understandably in the way, but anyway, the frame's his. So Ben Woollaston has levelled this match at 1 each. And just run down the other scores. Mark Joyce is 1 each with Ulian Boyko. Oliver Lyons is 1-0 up against Long Zhu Hang. Alexander Ersenbacher 1-0 up on Tian Peng Fei. Liu Hongyu 1-0 up on Martin O'Donnell. Andy Lee 1-0 up on Sanderson Lamb. Lucas Kleckers 1-0 up on Rod Lawler. And Dean Young 1-0 up on Ashley Hugill. And of course you can follow the MrQ UK Championship across the World Snooker Tour social media channels: Facebook, Twitter, some say X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, for match clips, interviews, behind the scenes content and much more. And indeed we will be joined in the interval by the head of digital media, won't we, Sam, who will be taking us through some of the other matches. Remember, you can watch tables 1 to 4, of course, live on Discovery Plus.
You know, the great thing about snooker these days, it's not just the tournament you're watching, it's wheels within wheels. And coming up in the new year, it's the Players Series. Now, basically, to get into those 3 events, you've got to have done really well in the season. It culminates with the Tour Championship at a new venue this season in Manchester. We have the Players Championship in Telford, and the Players Series begins right here at this very venue, the Morningside Arena in Leicester, with the World Grand Prix in January. That's the top 32 players on the one-season points list. So good things have got to happen for Ben Woollaston to be playing in that home tournament. But the World Grand Prix, for me, is one of the highlights of the year. You get people who are playing well, who have done well over the course of the campaign and want to make hay while the sun shines. As we say, World Grand Prix heading for Leicester in January, and I can tell you tickets are still available for that. Best of sevens in the early stages, and there's always a storyline there also, because it's a multi-table event. The top 16 off the one-year list go to Telford, and then this year a slight change in the Tour Championship. Before it was the top 8 who made that elite event. Now it's the top 12, Dave.
Yeah, more opportunity and a great venue, Manchester Central. That'll be just before the World Championship, and as we've said already, tickets available. If you go to the World Snooker Tour website, wst.tv/tickets, you can be part of all those great events. The Players Series, real good additions, I think, to the circuit, and another sort of set of ranking lists to follow. Here we're just waiting for Ryan Thomason to return. As I say, if you are watching in Australia, or anywhere for that matter, but certainly, because I know it's evening there, and Australian snooker fans I know quite often say it's not always easy to find the snooker. Well, it's on the World Snooker Tour YouTube and Facebook pages. So if you are watching, let us know at WeAreWST on Twitter or at Dave Hendon. That's at WeAreWST, at Dave Hendon. Wherever you are watching in the world, do let us know and we'll give you a mention. You can see there's a few hardy souls here as well in the audience who've made it to watch in person. You can come and watch the qualifying. It's just £10 a day. So if you are in the area and you want to watch the drama close up, do come along. Now, this is frame 3. Ryan Thomas had won the first and Ben Woollaston the second.
Historic event, the UK Championship. It began in 1977, but back then it didn't have a ranking status because it was only open to players resident in the UK, so consequently Australia's finest at the time, Eddie Charlton, did not participate.
Yeah, it wasn't until 1984 that it became a world ranking event and open therefore to everybody. As Ben Woollaston knocks a good red in there. Well, he's won a frame and maybe that will herald the start of something more significant for Ben. But yeah, a little shake of the head. That cue just ran towards the side cushion.
Yellow.
It wasn't as though Woollaston struggled right from the start of the campaign. He won a group in the opening event, the Championship League, again right here in Leicester. He also beat Robert Milkins 5-3 in the first qualifying round of the European Masters. Then had wins over Zhu Sur and Tom Ford actually at the tournament before losing out to Judd Trump. And as Dave mentioned, he qualified for Wuhan, beating Oliver Brown, but then the rod set in. In fairness though, Dave, he's had some very, very difficult draws. British Open, first match, Mark Selby. When he got to Wuhan, he played Aaron Hill, who's a fine prospect from the Republic of Ireland. First round of Northern Ireland, he had Ricky Walden. So things have been conspiring against him.
Yeah, it's the story really of this sort of era. I think the strength in depth. We've seen players. Zhang Anda was an obvious one coming through the pack from the middle ranks and good enough to reach a final, then win a tournament. So you can play well, of course, and still be losing those first rounds. We see the results sometimes and you think someone's struggling. They actually might be playing okay, but like you say, they're playing someone who's just a little bit better on the day.
Well, the cue ball returned to the safe end of the table, but look what Thomason has done. This is the best scoring chance of the match so far.
Yes, and of course Woollaston has already got a frame on the board, so he may be feeling more confident in taking the chance now. If he can just control things, control that cue ball.
And just a counter-argument to what I was saying before about Woollaston having tough draws. He did lose to a rookie from Thailand, Fetmalaikal, in the Scottish Open 4-2. That was a surprise. And in the International Championship, he was beaten by Wang Zinbo 6-4. So they were unexpected defeats.
Well, you didn't even have to watch the cue ball, just watch Ben's face there. You knew that had gone wrong. Not on a red, it would seem. Just had to accept it
So 4.
and play the safety. Mark Allen kicks things off on Saturday at York, defending champion, and be going there very confident as well after last night's heroics in Bolton. Not only beating Judd Trump, beating him 10-3. And that'd be a great result at any time, but with Trump winning 3 on the spin, 3 ranking events, you know, you couldn't really ask for more than that.
Yeah, Mark Allen found the balance, didn't he? He's always been a very fluent scorer. Last season he became more circumspect. He was the player of the season officially. Won 3 big events, including the UK, World Grand Prix and Northern Ireland Open as well. But I think he went into his shell a little too much for his own good. Now, as I say, he's struck the right tone. Unlike that shot where no contact was made.
No, either way, I mean, he's managed to avoid them all. Bart Tornell is our referee, putting the cue ball back here. Long days for the refs as well. He's actually doing a match at 2:30 as well, David Lilly, Sean O'Sullivan. So it'll be a busy day for him.
Fraction maybe. Maybe a fraction.
Now that little discussion underlines the sportsmanship in snooker. Ryan Thomason was saying, well, I think it needs to be moved because the shot at the moment is a little easier than it was. No cover, red on. It's easy to become blasé, Dave, isn't it, about the level of sportsmanship in the game because we're so used to it. But it's so refreshing in the current world of sport to have something like this where the players, their integrity is terrific.
Yeah, every credit. And it's given Woollaston potential opening, although this cue ball needs to bounce. It's not great there, is it? I mean, you look at those 4 colours lined up there, brown, blue, green and yellow. There's so acres of space to get on, well, all of them actually, but certainly one of them. But the white has carried on towards the cushion. By the way, in the interval, we'll be enjoying some archive action from the first UK final back in 1977. Ooh, well, he may have got away with this actually, but mistakes creeping in now from the Australian.
Yes, and Woollaston not having a good run of the ball, is he, really? Which isn't surprising, because when things go badly, that's what tends to happen. If you're in a unproductive run, the Bulls seem to know that and desert you. Lady luck nowhere to be seen. By the way, while he mulls over this, if you're watching in Germany, you'll be pleased to know that Lucas Kleckers is 2-0 up on Rod Lawler and holds a 23-point advantage with 5 reds left in the third frame. If ever you want to go and experience an absolutely electric atmosphere and a wonderful venue, then go over to Berlin for the German Masters. Dave, I've never been there. I've just experienced it vicariously through people who've told me about it, but you have been there. It's off the charts, isn't it?
Lovely atmosphere, great venue first and foremost. Imposing venue in the centre of Berlin, but yeah, the atmosphere, it's not just in the arena, it's actually outside as well. It's a rather unique event because you come out into the foyer and it's full of people, and there's sort of food stands, merchandise stands, and people just milling around talking snooker. You'll see Rolf Kalb there, Eurosport's league commentator in Germany for well over 30 years, talking to people, and really convivial atmosphere. I know the players love going there. It's one of the real highlights of the tour, and of course it is actually extended this year to 7 days, so there'll be more players and more matches, more days, more snooker. Can't beat it.
Yeah, Rolf Kalb is a real celebrity out there, and rightly so.
Well, this is true. The first time I went to Berlin, I got to the venue early, you know, and was trying to, with my GCSE German, make myself explain to the person on the security guard who I was, and I had to get a badge, and, you know, not their fault, my fault, but they didn't understand what I was saying. In walks Rolf. Turns out he doesn't need a badge. Every door opens for Rolf. I'll take you round. Yeah, brilliant. What a great day, because he does the emceeing there, the commentary, and has educated so many German snooker fans into the ways of snooker. Done a really important job, actually, over there. And we've seen the results, of course. We had the European Masters there this season, and January, the German Masters. Everyone looking forward to the qualifiers just before Christmas, actually. Yeah, just got there.
Touching ball.
This is typically hard fought. Exactly what we anticipated. Of course, these players don't have an unlimited amount of time to complete matches. The next session begins at 2:30 local time in just under 4 hours' time. And if a match isn't finished, then it's suspended until the evening. And we've seen plenty of matches that have been pulled off the table, Dave, in the first couple of days of qualifying.
Yeah, and then they have to sort of hang around, don't they? Come back in the evening. It's can be quite an anxious sort of time, really. Quite eerie, I think, having to come back at sort of 11 o'clock to play a couple of frames. Almost like a new match, really.
Now this red, at least he's had a sight of a shot similar to this. The brown he knocked in to set up victory in frame 1 wasn't dissimilar.
Just to say, Switzerland's representative on tour, Alexander Ursenbacher, has nudged 2-1 in front against Tianpeng Fei. And Long Zixuang of China has had a couple of good breaks actually. He's 2-1 up against Ollie Lyons. Well, with the black on the spot and reds available, this is a good scoring chance for Ryan Thomason,
8.
the Asia Pacific champion 2022. That's how he got his tour card. And actually, his father was a professional back in the day, in the year of when you just paid your entry fees and anyone could turn professional. So he's the man who got young Ryan into snooker. Paul Thomason, his name.
They say you learn something new every day. I didn't know that, Dave, but I remember the name now.
Yeah, I know he's very much into motocross as well. That was his kind of other big passion, Ryan, when he was younger. But made the decision to concentrate on snooker. And of course gravitated to Cambridge because Neil Robertson's based there, obviously to have, I mean, he lived with him for a while and Neil helped him out. To be able to spend time with him, practice with him, what a great benefit. He actually grew up in South London, but moved to Australia at a young age.
He's played Robertson twice this season. Lost 5-0 in the qualifiers for the Wuhan Open, where in that match, by the way, Robertson made his 900th career century. But he acquitted himself a lot better when they met in the International Championship qualifiers. Robertson winning that 6-4.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a sort of eclectic background. He worked at one stage as a blacksmith, and he was involved in an extraordinary accident. And thankfully, you know, it could have been a lot worse, but he was at a barbecue. And this is not a joke, by the way. He was at a barbecue, and someone managed to set his foot on fire. And he was scarred. I mean, thankfully, as I say, it could have been a lot worse, but Neil Robertson's got a slight sort of reputation for being accident prone, but that's taken it to a bit of a new level, I think. Setting yourself on fire.
I burnt my mouth at a few barbecues trying to be a little too greedy, but...
Well, the story he told was it was a windy day, and he could have put some petrol on the barbecue, and, well, you can sort of fill in the gaps, can't you, what happened? Anyway, let's see how hot he is in this break.
Good camera shot there, just indicating that he's a little left-eyed, Ryan Thomason. The master eye is the left, but I like the key action, and I think he's much improved.
I think what's good about this is just getting on with it, isn't he? He's not looking for problems, which can happen if your confidence is low. Building a nice lead, 38 so far. going to reach? It's not. So the break ends. He'll be
Ryan Thompson,
really
40.
disappointed because that was a golden chance. You look, those two reds he was on in the middle of the table with blacks will basically have done it, but frame not over yet. Could be a big moment actually in the match, that the black not reaching the pocket. It's up to Ben Woollaston to hit back here.
Opening up the pink and the red. That's the key to break building. Always try and supply yourself with as many options as possible. And despite all of the pressure, this is a realistic chance to clear. And as Dave said, to strike a blow.
7.
Yeah, certainly a frame that Ryan Thomason would have felt he should have won there, but it's out of his hands, of course, now.
Fifteen.
2-2, by the way, Mark Joyce, Julian Boyko, so they're the first match to the interval. Joyce winning the fourth frame there. Can watch that on Discovery Plus. Tables 1 to 4. So this one, Jianpeng Fei, Ersenbacher, Oliver Lines, Long Shihang, and Joyce Boyko. They're all live on Discovery Plus.
The red on the top cushion, that could be a problem. Even though it's close to the pocket, you have to be really careful with that kind of shot. Apart from that, though, everything sitting pretty for Woollaston. Sitting worryingly for Thomason.
23.
Well, these are the frames that can make the psychological difference. I mean, obviously it makes a difference in the scoreline, but the fact that Thomason was so nicely in, left the black short of this right corner to initiate this chance for Woollaston. It's a jolt of confidence for Woollaston if he wins the frame, and obviously it's a blow to Thomason if that happens.
31.
As is so often the case, the positional shot from black to yellow, vital. If he gets this right, they're all there for him. Well, he didn't get it right because he didn't pot the black cleanly. In some respects, you could say he's a little fortunate to have some kind of shot on the yellow, although it's not enviable. Cue ball and object ball so close together, playing into a blind pocket, so easy to misjudge the potting angle. Frame 3, and this is the biggest shot of the match so far. Very nicely done.
41.
We've explained the burden of pressure weighing down on his shoulders. In this break, he's coped admirably.
Yeah, he's been impressive here. You know, the chance came. The question was, could he take it? And this is the answer. Just checking the scores. So he's going to need brown and blue to lead 2-1. It's not just winning the frame, it's how he's done it. Pouncing on the opportunity. Thomason was feeling good as he was making his break. But Ben Woollaston feeling better by the end of the frame. Nice clearance, that wasn't it, from Ben Woollaston. 66 from the Leicester man, and he has taken, in rather dramatic fashion, a 2-1 lead.
Hope you're enjoying our coverage of the MrQ UK Championship qualifiers of 2023. And I must tell you that there is so much snooker on Discovery Plus. It really is a wonderful, wonderful service. If you're a snooker fan, everything is there for you. And also, so much other live sport as well. The Olympic Games next year, tennis Grand Slams, the Australian Open and the French Open at Roland Garros. The cycling, well, we have the 3 Grand Tours on Discovery Plus. Tour de France, Giro d'Italia and La Vuelta, and so much more. Also, if you're unaware of this, Eurosport's coverage of the Home Nations events is absolutely magnificent. They come on air at lunchtime and give you everything you need to know about what's going on in those superb tournaments where it's 128 players at the venue over 7 days and one man is standing at the end. Well, on the first few days of that event, there is morning coverage on Discovery Plus from 10 o'clock. I believe at the Scottish Open, the first match will be the defending champion Gary Wilson against Elliot Slesser.
Yeah, local derby. Now then, Ben Woollaston on home soil here in Leicester, and he will feel really good with that 66 clearance he made, just to really prove something to himself as much as anyone else that he's playing some good stuff right now. His results have dried up, but maybe the form is in there, and this would be a great event, of course, to bring it out in the UK Championship.
That was almost the Doug Mountjoy break there, the red going across the table and back into the pack. Doug Mountjoy very famously broke off, proper break, and the 2 reds went to either side and came back into their original positions. Did not intend for the red to go anywhere near that top right-hand pocket.
Someone.
There are many young rookie professionals from China on the tour this season, and one of those, Liu Hongyu, has made a good start against Martin O'Donnell, leading 2-0. When the first frame, aided by a break of 54, the second frame was scrappier. Little fortunate there. Missed the red on the way down, but caught it on the way back. Oliver Lyons on level terms with Long Zi Huang at 2-2. They've arrived at the interval. And I can tell you the scoreboard has just ticked over on table 6. Young Dean Young from Scotland has taken a 2-1 lead over Ashley Hugill. Shot to nothing, but when you play that shot at the end of it, and if the red goes in, you want something. Kissing the green, you would have thought would have been good for Woollaston, but it's dropped on that ball cushion.
Five. Six.
Yeah, I mean, ideal there, I guess, would have been high on the blue. Not only get the reds into play, but free the pink and black as well. But he's not going to do that off the blue here. Got into the white there, didn't he? Just about on the red, I think. You always look at the player's reaction, and there's certain players who'll let you know more than others. I think Ben, he's quite an expressive character. Just about on the red, is he? Yeah, he is. Well, he's behind the shot. It's obviously a little bit tight.
I always think first impressions can for an awful lot in this kind of situation. When he got down, I think he believed it went. But then doubts creep in.
Yeah, he's less convinced now, clearly. So just slightly lost ideal position. He could still play this as a shot to nothing. It's a thin one. Get the cue ball back towards ball. That's what he's done. The green, he's there. As long as he's not behind the brown here, which he's not. So there's a chance to continue. But the reds, as I say, they're all kind of packed together now. There is that one that he played on. He's still available. But he's going to have to be exact with the position to get on it. There's the one just off the top cushion as well. They're the only ones that pop, though. Trying to develop things. So it's going to have to be end of break, it would seem. Doesn't want to surrender the advantage he's got. Winning that last frame with the clearance, he's on top. Doesn't want to leave easy chances. Ooh, caught the knuckle. Well, it's okay. Now, of course, we spent some time, Phil, with Stephen Hendry last week in Bolton, and he is the co-host of the new World Snooker Tour podcast, Snooker Club, with Mark Watson. And each edition they have a special guest. Lee Dixon, the former Arsenal footballer, will be the next one next week. So you can, of course, download that from all the usual offices. Stephen, it's amazing, isn't it? Because we covered a lot of his career, you more than me. And let's be honest, I mean, he won a lot, but when he was losing matches, he wasn't the most forthcoming. But now he's got his YouTube channel, he's got his podcast. You can't shut him up.
Well, when he lost, I remember the Irish Open. You were the press officer for World Snooker at the time, and it was clear he was in a very, very bad mood. He did not like defeat. That's what made him such a record-breaking winner. And I think he issued one word in that press conference. The word was shrewd. And that was a pretty shrewd shot from Ben Woollaston. Yeah, all of the journos were frightened to ask him any questions. You stepped into the breach, Dave, and you got the one word out of him.
Well, I was frightened as well, but I thought it was my... Yeah, I said, you must be disappointed, Stephen, to which he said shrewd. Anyway, he's, as I say, more loquacious these days. Meantime, Ben Woollaston starting to look good. Starting to look confident. Again, they're trying to open reds up off the black. Feeling he would be on this red either way to the corner. He's actually on one to the left middle, I think, so all is good. Chance for 3-1 here. And that's third frame, certainly the most significant so far in terms of the psychology of this match. We will, by the way, after the interval, be joined by Stephen Hallworth. And he'll be joining us to talk through the second half of the match. But in the interval, you can watch, we will be bringing you some real good archive footage of the first UK Championship final. And we'll also be looking at what's been happening in the other matches.
Betwixt and between there. Didn't stun down far enough for the black. Stunned a little too far for an ideal pink. The pink will still go, but it's thin and control of the cue ball is compromised. Mind you, you wouldn't fancy taking on the black, would you? not too bad.
21.
I'm sure Woollaston acutely aware that you can have more than one turning point. We saw one in this match in the last frame when Thomas had left the black short of the right corner, but of course, you know, it can happen the other way round. This red needs good control. Yeah, and it stayed out, and the white is in, and the red is going to be on, I think, to the yellow pocket, so that could be that turning point I mentioned. That's a sort of quintessential way a frame can turn in one shot. Misses the red, goes in off, and has stuck the red.
And when you're playing poorly, when you're struggling for results, there's a portion of the brain waiting for something negative to happen.
Sure, Alex Ersenbacher next door is 3-1 up on Tianpenfei. They're just resuming after the interval. Oliver Lyons has made it 2-2 with Long Zihuang of China.
I suggested to Rob Walker, the Master of Ceremonies, a nickname for Alexander Ersenbacher when he qualified for the Crucible. The Swiss who doesn't miss, but he didn't use it for some reason.
Well, it's a good job because he lost 10-2. So it's pretty clear he did miss that day. Great player, but of course experienced the Crucible collie wobbles.
Well, with a name like Alexander, you've got to be great. Now that's an indication of just how well Ryan Thomason can cue. In this instance, a little too well. Who would have thought he could have got there? Lots of zip, lots of screw on the cue ball, and he just travelled on and on. And annoyingly, he can't pot the red to top corner, and I don't think he can get through to the red to right middle either. He wants to stay at the table. But realised it was wishful thinking.
That shot, though, has transformed this frame because now every red is potable. So the 25-point lead that Ben Woollaston has does not really account for much here. Whoever pots the next red, you'd actually make favourite for the frame. Lucas Kleckers has taken the fourth frame against Rod Lawler, so it's 4-0 to the German there. Great start for him. Sort of seemed willing that cue ball to run in behind the yellow. It didn't quite happen.
And one decent shot here, and 3-1 very much on the cards. Cue ball just a little too close to the side cushion for total comfort. But if this goes in, he should be away.
Well, he's a well-regarded player, Ben Woollaston, on tour. He's just struggled for results of late, but if you're going to turn it round in any tournament, then the UK Championship is as good as any. It's in his hands to take a 3-1 interval lead here.
You mentioned right at the start of the match, Dave, that the winner plays Cao Yupeng next, and that's a very tough assignment. When he plays well, he scores with the best of them.
I think this is why the qualifiers are going to be dangerous, because they'll have had to have played well to get to York.
15.
Whereas the top 16, you could argue, on a bit of a hide into nothing coming in round one. If they lose, they get no ranking points. So there could be a few upsets, and that's, you know, accepting the very high quality of the top 16. Ben Woollaston would just love to be in that draw on Thursday. If he wins this frame, he'll be 3 frames away from the penultimate qualifying round.
I must say, I'm a big fan of this format, always have been.
22.
It's the way of the world that TV wants to see the big names, the top players, and by having this seeded structure, that's guaranteed.
So this next pot should be enough. Well, in fact, one more red as well. Well, I was right the first time, 55 in it, 51 on, but as I say, the extra red
30.
just to make sure. And Ben Woollaston will be satisfied, because it was a very nervy start, you've got to say. Ryan Thomason had that chance in the third frame. He was going well on 49, missed the black.
31.
Woollaston cleared up with 66. And now Woollaston looking the stronger of the two, and he's going to be 2 frames in front at the interval. Tables 1 to 4 continue live on Discovery Plus, and of course this match will
37.
continue after the 15-minute break. But as I say, we will have content to entertain you as well during the interval, so do stay with us.
Yes, Ryan Thomason won the first frame. Potted a good brown, well cued, added the blue. And you thought that Ben Woollaston might be susceptible to another crushing defeat.
55.
Not now. He's definitely looking the stronger of the two players.
58.
Yeah, second half century in as many frames.
62.
That's the highest break of the match, superseding his own 66 in frame 3.
We're seeing here what a good player Ben Woollaston is.
73.
Taking these nicely. Okay, he's lost the white there, but it doesn't matter. So 73 from Ben Woollaston, and he holds the advantage at the mid-session interval in this second qualifying round match at the MrQ UK Snooker Championship. 3-1 it is to Ben Woollaston. Remember, it's first to 6 to reach the next round. Okay, so we're going to, as I say, be back in 15 minutes for more live coverage, but do stay with us. And right now, we're going to go back to the very first UK Championship. It all began in Blackpool in 1977, and the first final was between Patsy Fagan and Doug Mountjoy. Let's enjoy some iconic moments from this wonderful UK Championship.
'63. He now has to get possession on this last difficult red. Wow. It was bad luck for Fagan. But he now leads, as you see, 63 points to 21, 42 points in front, and in fact only 35 points on the table. This last red, the black, and all the colours. Doug Mountjoy, the Benson Hedges Masters champion, the runner-up in pot black this year, has to be content, I feel, certainly at the moment, with second place in the United Kingdom Professional Snooker Championship for 1977. Doug, who has been professional now for some 3 years, has had a brilliant run in his professional career. But the young men in snooker today must come forward, and surely we shall see a lot more of the 26-year-old Irishman, Patsy Fagan. A good snooker from Mountjoy there. Fagan, of course, will take good care not to leave a free ball if he misses the red. For a free ball could give extra points to Mountjoy. Now, as I say that, I am ridiculed completely. A complete change of fortune. 7 points away to start with and a free ball. It puts Mountjoy back into this frame.
Patsy Fagan 63, Doug Mountjoy 28.
A difference of 35 points, and Mountjoy with a free ball, which means he can take any colour he likes. It'll count 1 point. He's then onto a colour and then back onto the red. No. Well, I'm sure the thoughts of Doug Mountjoy are at the moment unprintable. Where's the cue ball going? No, we're all right. Mountjoy here can still tie. He can take this red, the black, and all the colours. 35 points in it. 35 points on the table. Struggling to stay in the final. That is the final of the United Kingdom Professional Snooker Championship, being played here at the Tower Circus, Blackpool, for the first time in many, many years. And there is a very cool, calm and collected 26-year-old Irishman looking forward to another few moments when he hopes he will be able to pick up a cheque for £2,000 and the title of UK Professional Snooker Champion. Attempting the snooker. Mountjoy, of course, cannot afford to miss this red. Well, in fact, I didn't think he could see it, but Obviously he could. He's left almost a Chinese snooker, that is, that Fagan has got to get right over the top of the blue. And there's a snooker. That's unlucky for Mountjoy. The Reds caught the lip of the pocket and set the balls up for this young Irishman. To clean up, in fact, all balls nicely spaced on the table.
One.
This championship, sponsored by Super Crystal 8, makers of the world's billiard balls, offering a first prize of £2,000 to the winner, £1,400 to the runner-up. And it is the young Irishman Patsy Fagan who, on his way to this final, defeated his fellow countryman Jack Ray and then took care of the former world champion Fred Davis. He went on to defeat Jim Meadowcroft and then John Virgo to finally fight out this final against the Welshman Doug Mountjoy. That is not so clever.
17.
Not that Patsy Fagan is now worried. Leading 80 points to 28 and needing just this frame for the title. He is there. Plays a snooker. And in fact, Mountjoy has conceded, like the sportsman that Mountjoy is, the champion then for the United Kingdom. 1977 is the 26-year-old Irishman, Patsy Fagan, who now lives in London.
Well, great moments there from the first UK Championship final, 1977. Patsy Fagan, he looked a bit stunned, didn't he, that he'd won it. The great Joe Davis coming out as well to present the trophy. And here we are, 46 years on, and we're involved, of course, in qualifying for this year's event. We've been watching Ben Woollaston against Ryan Thomason. 3-1 it is to Woollaston. They'll be back in about 5 or 6 minutes' time. But there's been a lot happening on the other tables. And World Snooker Tour's digital media manager, Sam Fletcher, has been across it all. Sam, a lot happening out there.
There has, David. Yes. Let me talk us through the tables. Yeah, you've explained table 1 already. Thank you very much. Table 2, Ersenbacher leads Tianpeng Fei 3-1. Made a century in frame 3. On table 3, got Long Zuhang up against Oliver Lines. That's 2-2. Long Zuhang made a 138 total clearance, followed by a 98. So a strong mini session for him. On table 4, Yulian Boyko, Ukraine's number 2, currently an amateur. He's 2-2 with Mark Joyce. On table 5, we've got the battle of the 3-letter surnames. It's Andy Lee who leads Sanderson Lamb 2-1 at this point. On table 6, last time I checked, David, I'm just going to have a double check. Dean Young leads Ashley Hugel 2-1. On table 7, Lucas Kleckers has dominated Rod Lawler 4-0. He finished with a 98, finishing strongly there. And on table 8, Lu Hongyu is 2-0 up on Martin O'Donnell.
There's a lot of names there, a lot of breaks as well. And, you know, you've mentioned some of the centuries. I think people don't always appreciate, you know, we see sometimes the results the standard here. We had a maximum yesterday, didn't we, Juicer? The standard here is very, very high.
It is, yeah. I mean, when I joined in the job, David, 6 years ago, I think a 147 was probably an extremely valuable thing. Now, even in that time, you know, we see them so frequently. We still enjoy them. Obviously, the entertainment factor, the excitement of a 147, that's never going to change, particularly for the person who's potting the balls. But you know, for us, it's you know, I think I got a text from our head of media yesterday saying that there'd been a 147. I wasn't surprised. You know, it happens so often. That's Ivan, by the way, Ivan Hirschfitz.
Yeah, and also, of course, Juicer's made that one, and the new scheme with if you make 2 in the Triple Crown tournaments, you get 147,000 plus the high break prize. I was saying to Phil, you know, we often say in commentary the frame's the most important thing. Well, we'll find out about that, won't we? Because if he's on sort of 4 reds, 4 blacks in his next match, we know what he's going to do. He's going to go for the 147.
Yeah, we've seen a few different kind of variations of 147 bonuses and prizes. What do you think, David, of the latest?
I think it's great. I think it's, you know, any sport is looking for publicity. This will attract publicity for sure. And for the players, what an opportunity to be rewarded for making the perfect break in that way. Of course, it's in 3 specific events, and it's worth saying, of course, not everyone will be in the Masters, so top 16 are an advantage there. But in qualifying, you know, for this and the World Championship, there's a lot of frames, a lot of matches to play, so everyone has the chance. And for some players lower down the list, you know, it could financially be a massive boon. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's going to be, like we say, we've had the first now, so the next time Juicer plays, there's going to be a lot of interest in his match, isn't there? And that's going to be the case for anyone else who makes one.
Yeah, he knows the assignment, doesn't he? He's read the script. But yeah, I think to be honest, David, I think it's a brilliant one this time. I think players will fancy that task. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. As you say, we'll see how he gets on in his in the rest of his Triple Crown matches. But yeah, I think it's a really positive thing.
Just finally, Sam, you're the social media man. Just remind us of the various channels and ways of getting in touch.
Yeah, so Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. That's our kind of that's us now on social media. We're across all of it. Best place probably today, if you're watching, if you want to get in touch with us, reply on Twitter. On Twitter, we are WST. On the other platforms, we will be World Snooker Tour.
Excellent, thanks for that. And we'll pick up the coverage in a couple of minutes' time when the match resumes. So the players are returning for the second half of this match. Ben Woollaston finished very strongly in the last couple of frames there against Ryan Thomason, breaks of 66 and 73 to lead 3-1. So he needs 3 more frames. He'll be in the penultimate round of qualifying for the MrQ UK Snooker Championship. Big frame this, I guess, for Thomason, trying to stay in touch. Of course, he's already beaten Ryan Evans, but now he finds himself trailing here. Delighted to be joined now for the second half by Stephen Hallworth. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, great to be here. Really enjoying the snooker so far. Massive tournament this course, the MrQ UK Championship. As you say, it was a bit of a scrappy start to the day from Ben, but big third frame, and now he looks to have found his feet.
Yeah, doesn't want to take his foot off the gas, of course. It's still relatively early in the match, actually. There's 7 frames potentially left. The cue ball kept running there. Well, he kind of had to go for that, and he went full-blooded at it, but has not potted it.
Yeah, it was one of them reds that he's been left that, as you say, he had to go for it. He went for it full-blooded and, of course, never anticipated that the red would come away from the jaws and career into the pack as it did. But at first glance, he's may not have left anything straightforward for Ben to get nicely on a colour. So he may have got away with that, Ryan. I know it's already been said this morning that Ben's results this season have maybe not been what he's been looking for, but I can tell you he's definitely playing very well. I know he's working with Peter Ebden now as well. Recently just started with him, and I had a practice session with Ben on Friday, and well, let's just say I did plenty of fielding that day. He played very well, and he'll be looking to bring that sort of form into this. He'll be looking for a win just to try and get a bit of confidence. That's all you're looking for as a player. Build in that confidence, try and get onto a little bit of a run, get some momentum going.
Yeah, and there's a lot of tournaments these days, but there are certain tournaments you want to do well in. In terms of the UK Championship, obviously the prize money and the ranking points are higher than any event other than the World Championship. But I also think, Ben would have grown up watching this tournament, of course, and if he could get to York, that would be a massive achievement and could just turn his whole season around. So obviously he's still got to win this match and 2 more, but that will be something that could really transform things for him. And that's true of a lot of players here.
Yeah, and I think it's more of the psychological side to it as well. If you get to, say, the last 32 or last 16 of another event, that's obviously great, but you want to be kicking on. But if you get to the last 32, last 16 of the UK Championship, it feels like a real big achievement, which obviously it is, but it's just that, the title, it's a Triple Crown event. They're the big events you want to be doing well in, and it could be just what he needs. Sat around the 50s in the end of season, so he needs it to happen to try and avoid any panic stations come the end of the season.
Well, do please continue to contact us here and let us know your thoughts on any snooker related matters, who you think is going to win the UK Championship. You can contact us various ways. Twitter's probably the most convenient in terms of us being able to check what you're saying, so you can contact World Snooker Tour at WeAreWST, myself at Dave Hendon, and Stephen at Stephen Hallworth. That's Stephen with a V. Let us know. And as I say, in Australia, of course, it'd be night time. I'm sure there'll be Aussie snooker fans tuning in. That's a good pot again from Woollaston.
One.
Oh, he would have loved a little kiss on the brown there that would have just held for the green. But in general, he's starting to play some good stuff. Just feel like he's in control of this match.
Yeah, and there's been a few occasions already in this game so far where that sort of scenario's happened. He's potted a red and not quite had the kiss or landed as he would have liked. So it's just a bit of a battle at the minute for Ben. He's having to show some patience and some discipline. Another day, as you say, he cannons the brown full ball, and it's a great scoring opportunity to win the frame. But this is where temperament and mindset comes into it at this professional level. Not every day you can get the nice flicks, and when you don't, it's about just biding your time, being patient as he is, trying to just prize an opportunity out of Ryan.
Foul, and a miss. Ben Woollaston 4.
Ian Budge has got in contact. He's saying that Anthony McGill is given a good chance to win. Well, if that happened, he'd be certainly be the first player to win the UK Championship with a carbon fibre Q. He's got that black Q, hasn't he, which he's persevering with. Of course, Anthony will have to qualify first.
It's funny, actually. It's quite an interesting topic of conversation, the carbon fibre Q at the moment. I was just chatting to Louis Heathcote up in the Players' Lounge, and of course he played the American in the opening round, Hamid Al Saeed, and he himself uses a carbon fibre Q, but was saying that apparently John Higgins has seen, obviously practices with Anthony McGill a lot, and says that he's just astonished at some of the shots that he's able to play with the carbon fibre Q, and apparently has even contemplated a switch himself, which of course for a massive name like that to do such a thing, it could maybe open the floodgates, who knows.
Well, I know one thing, if Ian's prediction is correct and Anthony McGill does win the UK Championship, the next tournament there'll be 20 players with one of those carbon fibre Qs.
Yeah, now's a good time to start producing the carbon fibre Qs, because if that does happen, sales could be going through the roof. Not just the carbon fibre Q though, it has to be paired with a glove.
Yeah, they come as a pair, don't they? Yeah. Listen, I think it's good in a way that players, Anthony's doing great in his career, but he's looking for a way of improving. You see players sometimes looking at different coaching techniques or just a different routine or whatever it is to try and find an improvement, find a change, rather than just relying on, hoping that things will turn around of their own accord. So that's what he's looked into. We'll see over time. Sean Murphy, of course, he's bringing 3 Qs to tournaments, isn't he? And then sort of choosing which one to use at any given time. In one match in Belfast, he actually changed Qs during a match. So, these they may not always be successful ideas, but at least players are thinking about the best way to give themselves an edge.
He was in a bit of trouble there, was Ryan. Didn't really have an obvious route back to baulk, so he's tried to play the dump shot. But he has left a tempter. He was always going to leave a tempter for Ben here to the right middle. And looking at one to the right corner as well. It's a thin cut. He may not have much control over the cue ball. It looks for certain to be going into the reds above it. So trusting a little bit to luck here. Love to catch this just quarter ball thin off, and he hasn't. May have a shot at the pink to middle. That's a nice pot from Ben. Played it confidently, although he's going to need another one.
Yeah, these are good signs. You know, he's made a nervy start first couple of frames, but when the chance came in the third, he took it well, the clearance, made the good 73 in the last, and now these balls are sort of going in the middle of the pockets. Sensing a chance to really pull away here.
Yeah, he's using his experience well, as Ben. He knows he's got Ryan under pressure at the moment. He's got to keep his foot on his throat and just try and take these opportunities as they come. He's been patient, as I've already mentioned, and the chances arise now, and it's up to Ben to try and take it.
16.
Just to say, from this afternoon, this evening, we'll have competitions to win tickets to the UK Championship, so do tune in from 2:30 local time, 7:30 tonight. We'll have Ken Doherty, Dwayne Jones this afternoon, and Ding Junhui, of course, having to qualify this year, runner-up last year to Mark Allen. He's up against Daniel Wells tonight at 7:30. So that's about just trying to keep a bit of control here. As I say, with a serious chance to open up a 3-frame lead. I asked Phil, Stephen, his prediction for the UK Championship, who's going to win, and I thought he might give me a list of names, but he was very definitive. He said Mark Selby. Do you have any views on who might win it?
Yeah, I would have definitely had Mark Selby in my shortlist, that's for sure. Do you know what, to be honest, I think Mark Allen's going to take some stopping. I think he'd have taken some, you know, a massive amount of confidence in that victory last night. Not just the win against Judd, but the way he went about it to win so emphatically in a big event like that. Of course, he's played so well over the last couple of seasons. I think both the Marks are going to take some stopping. You know, there's a lot of top players that you've got to throw their name into the hat. Sorry, but yeah, if I'm going to stick my neck on the line, it's one of the Marks for me.
39.
Of course, a great venue at the Barbican in York.
46.
That's what all these players are competing for here, a place at the Barbican. One of my earliest memories of actually live snooker was at the Barbican. My dad bought us tickets and we watched a game that Marco Fu was involved in. I can't remember who he's playing now, but
47.
somehow managed to wangle front row seats for that game, and he'd actually taken me out of school to watch it and actually called in sick himself from work. So to be sat on the front row live on TV, of course, got a bit of a telling off the next day, but it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? All eyes are on you at the tournaments. Anyway, Ben Woollaston will not be having to call in sick if he qualifies. And he's going along nicely here. A couple of reds still in play. Brian Thomason will be concerned at the way Woollaston has upped his standard, and the reds on the cushions won't concern Ben Woollaston with the lead he's got. Red McCullen needed then.
59.
And this is his third half century in as many frames.
And it's all come about from that good safety he played. He put Ryan in a lot of trouble. Didn't have many options to try and keep it safe from Ben. Left him that tempter. He's got the red, potted a great pink to the middle, followed it up with another good red, and the rest is history. This has been a good visit from Ben.
Yeah, so we said at the time that in that third frame when Ryan Thompson left that black short to the right corner pocket, it could be a big moment. My word, it really has been. Completely transformed this match. Break ends at 74, but he's done enough to open a 3-frame lead. 4-1 it is to Ben Woollaston, and Ryan Thompson has a few problems here because Woollaston has made his move, and he's made it impressively to pull away. Still needs 2 more for victory. There's potential 6 frames, of course, remaining here. Just on the other scores, Oliver Lyne's now 4-2 up on Long Zhuhang of China. Alexander Ersenbacher 4-1 up on Tianpeng Fei. And Lucas Klecker's 4-0 over Rod Lawler. So they're all in strong positions. The other match is pretty close. Ulian Boyko 3-2 over Mark Joyce. Sanderson Lam and Andy Lee 2-2. Ashley Hugel and Dean Young 2-2. And Lu Hongyu and Martin O'Donnell, it's 2-0 to Lu Hongyu. So it's not a quick match, I think, if we can say without any fear of contradiction. They are on the colours in frame 3. Of course, O'Donnell had to come back late last night to finish off his previous match, so he wouldn't have got that much sleep, but he's getting stuck in there as he does. The Minister of Defence, they call him. Just to reiterate, there are still some tickets left for the main stages at the Barbican in York. It's sold out for a lot of sessions, but there are some sessions that have availability from just £22. And for the first time in York, there are VIP packages available as well from the quarterfinals onwards, including a 3-course meal, the best seats in the house, a photo with the trophy and much more. Check out wst.tv/tickets for details of that and all other tournaments. Ben Woollaston 4-1 up then, playing good stuff here. Can he press on towards the line? Now, Ersenbacher over Tianpeng Fei. So it's a slightly erratic character, I think, Ersenbacher. Very good player. Sort of goes missing at times. Then he pops up, beats Ronnie O'Sullivan in various tournaments. But anyway, he's looking good there. 5-1 against a tough opponent. Meanwhile, he's just caught the pink. And the referee's going to have to put him back here. Bart Turnell.
You know, they're all big frames here. You know, every frame is a pint of blood, but that was a particularly big frame, you feel. Definitely for Ben. He's opened himself up a nice little cushion in this game. A 3-frame lead in a race to 6. 3-2, and it probably gets a little bit twitchy. I think that Ben will feel a little bit more relaxed now. pressure's definitely on Ryan to try and make something happen in this game. And again, finds himself in a little bit of trouble here. The Reds have opened up and he's in behind the yellow. Tough to try and rest on a red without leaving anything. The pack may be an option, but if he slides off it, he could leave one.
Yeah, there's a definite sense he's firmly on the back foot at the moment, Ryan Thomason. But James Cook is watching in. He says it's 6:30 a.m. in a cold New York City. So got up early to watch this. Thank you, James. Where we are in the world, do let us know, and we'll give you a mention. And as I say, let us know you think we'll be able to win this UK Championship. It's very hard to predict at the moment, I think. Could have qualified, do it. Meantime, that's a mistake. Just a question again of whether he's got away with it. Maybe not.
Yeah, he's left this red to the yellow bag for Ben, but it's a pressure pot. The red over the left corner will be sat waiting for Ryan should Ben miss it. Digging down as well, which makes this even more difficult. Oh, superb. That's a fantastic shot from Ben Woollaston. Confidently played again. You can see he's just starting to free up a touch now, and worrying signs for Ryan. So coming down the business end of the table, having a look. Would love to get the black back on its spot at some stage as early as possible. Just came round to see where best to leave the cue ball to try and make that happen. And that could be a great scoring opportunity for Ben.
Definite chance again to get going. I was just thinking about Juice's maximum yesterday, because uniquely in the UK Championship, that's not the highest break in this tournament, because Jamie Burnett, getting on for 2 decades ago now, had a 1.48 in qualifying, obviously with the aid of a free ball at the start of the break. That's the highest break in professional snooker. We've had a few 16 red clearances, but to make one of more than 1.47, it takes some explaining, I guess, to people who maybe don't follow snooker that closely. But yeah, that still stands as the highest break. The problem with that was there wasn't a high break prize in the qualifiers, so it went completely unrewarded. But he's in the history books. I was saying this bonus they've got now for the maximums in the Triple Crown events, it's either 147 or 155. So the free ball, obviously the extra 8 points. 147 made with 15 reds, 15 blacks. 147 with a free ball, 16 reds would not count, and that will be important because there's a lot of money up for grabs.
Yeah, it's an interesting little concept that now, especially for Juicy, as you say, making that maximum yesterday. Of course, he's got another few games here, but then he's going to have games in the World Championship, minimum of 1. It'd be interesting, you know. I think if I was him, I'd be at any given opportunity, without being daft, of course, you've got to be going for it. As you say, like that's a massive amount of money for someone, you know, at his area of the ranking. Of course, it won't go on his ranking, but it's not very often you get a chance at that sort of pot.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Now he's made one, I'm sure. We may even get one more this week, maybe in York. Some of the big hitters will be looking at that, won't they, and thinking, okay, let's focus the mind a bit. Right now, Ben Woollaston would just like a frame-winning break. He's had 66, 73, 74 in this match, so he's scored nicely in the last 3 frames.
So the pink spots, he's got maybe 2 loose reds now before he needs to go into the pack. He'll be looking at his route options here to see what the best play is. Pot the pink, get on the red to the left of the table and maybe go into them off the black. He did have an angle on the pink there. He could maybe have gone into the pack from that pink, but he's choosing to be a little bit conservative, Ben. He's trying to just pick them off here and try and win the frame nice and neatly.
Saw Alexander Ussenbacher there following that with great interest, but he's doing well himself. 5-1 up to Tianpeng Fei.
So the red to the right of the pack there will be a nice little target, unless he screws through them, which he has chosen to. Trusting a little bit to luck, and he may have one to middle. That could be okay.
44.
Well, first couple of frames, you wouldn't have fancied him for this red, but he's queued really nicely since. Yeah, that's just illustrative, really, of how well he's been playing the last sort of half an hour in this match. Played it confidently, so can he now press on and take another frame out in essentially a single visit? Well, it's his 4th half century in as many frames. And this is a golden chance, you've got to say now, to make it 5-1 and put himself on the brink of victory. And a place in the 3rd of 4 qualifying rounds here in Leicester. Yeah, just a slight shake of the head. He's just left it a little awkward for the red to corner. He's got choices though, hasn't he? He's got options here.
Yeah, it's never plain sailing, is it? But there should be no troubles with this red for Ben. Yeah, negotiated it nicely.
59.
Been a bit of a struggle for Ryan, similar to his results so far this season. There's been glimmers of, you know, great performances from him. He run Neil Robertson close in the International Championship. I feel like he played very well in there after a heavy defeat in the previous tournament to him.
66.
Bounced back, didn't quite get the victory, and he's shown signs of his level, but he's just not been able to bring it to the forefront today, which has been a shame. Of course, this is not over yet. He's going to be 5-1 down, but stranger things have happened, but he's going to have to make something happen. He's going to have to be attacking.
Firstly, though, Woollaston's got to pop this. There's still enough on here, 75 on, so this is frame ball. Yeah, nicely done. And it's encouraging, as I say, didn't touch the sides, did it? So, as you say, 5-1, and it's not just the scoreline, it's how Woollaston has pulled away here. Very impressive, actually. Kelly Barker, great snooker fan, has got in contact to say that she's going for Sean Murphy to win in York. His form has dipped a bit recently, she says, but he loves the big occasion. I'm tipping him to bounce back in style. She says, I would love to see Jack Lazowski finally get over the line too if he can get on a run. As Woollaston misses that one.
Ben Woollaston, 74 and free.
74, and Ryan Thompson has seen enough, and he's in trouble here because, as I say, it's not just the scoreline, which is precarious enough, but it's the fact that Woollaston now is making the most of the chances he's getting. 66, 73, 74, another 74. It's 5-1, and he needs one more frame for victory when Ryan Thompson returns. A few more predictions. Lee is going for Mark Selby, and James Cook, a friend in New York, he's actually saying, I predict Jack Lazowski will win. He's a bit under the radar, which might help. There's a lot of love for Jack, isn't there? Understandably, the way he plays. Of course, he's looking to break through and win a ranking event. Got to the semis last year. In fact, he probably should have beaten Mark Allen in their decider. But, well, keep knocking on the door. I guess one day it might open. But if he did win one, Stephen, I mean, it'd almost be a bank holiday, wouldn't there? People would be so happy.
Yeah, I think there should, to be fair. Like we've spoken about it for a number of seasons now. He's probably going to win a tournament someday. Like you say, he's knocking on the door. We all know how good he is. He's one of the most naturally gifted players we have in our game. I'd be a massive fan if he was to lift the title. And, who knows? It could be this UK Championship. But the wheel of the snooker calendar doesn't stop there. Straight after the Barbican, we head over to a new venue in Swansea for the shootout. Of course, that was held here at the Morningside Arena in Leicester last season. We're over to Swansea. Tickets are available still from just £20 for the day for that if you're in the area or you fancy a weekend away. And let me tell you, it's a fantastic weekend away, the shootout. I'll be playing, so of course you all want to come and watch me play. So yeah, another great event to look forward to.
Who did you draw, Stephen?
I've actually got a local lad, Jamie Jones. He's only a few minutes down the road from the arena there, so really looking forward to that. He'll probably bring a big crowd in, and I tend to bring a few, from the local village. So yeah, it should be a great occasion.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Chris Wakelin, so impressive last year, making the highest break, 119 in the final itself, and of course he's pushed on. He's been in a final Northern Ireland Open this season, played at the Champion of Champions, so the shootout is a very different event, but it can lead to big things. Right now, Ben Woollaston is hoping, of course, this is this final frame shootout for him. He just needs one more. Ryan Thompson looking to put a bit of pressure on, but he will now need to produce the sort of form that Woollaston has, because Ben Woollaston's playing good stuff, feeling confident, looking good to get this match won. It seems the Lu Hongyu Martin O'Donnell third frame just will not finish. They're on the pink. There's 1 point in it. It's 2-0 to Lu Hongyu. I'm going to make a prediction that they'll be coming back tonight to finish that one. Not the most outlandish prediction, because they're only in frame 3 after 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I think your money's safe with that bet, Dave. But that's what this tournament can offer. Exciting late night finishes. Of course, it's not so exciting for the players. That it's a pretty stressful environment out there, and having to come back and hang about all day, does look like that one's going to be pulled off potentially, unless there is a big swinging play over there.
Well, Woollaston didn't get on a colour, but has laid the snooker, and there's danger here because there are reds in open play, and Thomason will feel if he leaves one on, that could be it, the way Woollaston's been playing the last few frames. So a bit of trouble here for the Aussie.
Ryan would have done very well not to leave at least a tempter for Ben, and he has done. This red to middle is very difficult, it's very thin, but in it goes. That's a very nice pot from Ben Woollaston, and straight in again. Another opportunity in the frame that he needs to get over the line here. A little shake of the head from Ben. He just felt that cue ball. It just ran on a fraction, and he may have to use the rest for this shot now, which makes it a little bit more difficult unless he can just stretch over.
Well, it's his first real chance to get this match won, and you have to say the way he's gone 5-1 up, you'd fancy his chances. Obviously, soon he's going to have to develop reds, but overall he's feeling good. It's been a strong scoring performance from Ben Woollaston, and of course he's in that position as well, and it must be an advantage. You can go home, you know, he's not in a hotel. Even if, say, the match was pulled off, he could go home between sessions, so it must be nice to be here at the Morningside playing this one. Get away from the sort of snooker bubble that can surround these tournaments. Just a little short here.
Yeah, it does. It gets very intense. You know, it's not just out there in the arena, it's all the downtime in between that you've got to try and, you know, stay as focused as possible. It's not just a case of turning up for your game, switching on, playing, and then switching off. When you're involved in an event, you know, you've got to try and stay focused throughout the days leading up to your matches, and that's another great pot from Ben. If that cue ball travels, which it will do, yeah, it's a massive bonus for Ben to be able to get home and put his feet up on the sofa and watch everyone else battle it out.
Yeah, and I actually thought as well, and it's easy to say now, I know, but I thought Mark Allen actually did the right thing going home after his first match in the Champion of Champions. He played on the Monday, wasn't playing again till the Saturday. And, you know, the temptation is just to sit around the venue all week, and it's not productive time, really, and you get drawn into conversations about things, and your focus is sort of taken away. I mean, as I say, he won it, so it's easy to say that, but it seemed like a good idea. So he's recovered position, and we're coming up to the moment where he'll be developing reds, and then he could be in with a real good chance to win this match.
Just on the outright winners of prediction contest, we've had a message in from Matthew Lester, who says, a few weeks ago I did actually fancy Judd Trump to maybe win all 3 Triple Crown events, but his recent run has perhaps caught up with him. Now that would have been some feat. He's had a fantastic season, 3 wins and 5 finals already, Judd Trump. To go on and lift all 3 Triple Crowns, well, yeah, that'd be incredible, wouldn't it?
Well, there's only 3 players who've done it in the same season, the UK, the Masters and the World. Steve Davis, Stephen Hendry and Mark Williams. And Mark was 20 years ago now, so, you know, it's not a common feat at all. Anyway, now it's about trying to get into these reds.
Yeah, he's travelled maybe just a touch far for the blue. It's very thin. Needs to play a delicate little screw into the pink here. He's played it very well, and he's been a little bit unfortunate there because he caught the nice part of the pink that you felt would definitely open the reds. The cue ball has stuck to the pack. And there's not really a lot he can do here with that red being over the corner pocket. May just have to tickle into the reds.
Yeah, as you say, he's just unlucky, really. If he gets on a red there, he probably wins, but he's going to have to be patient, wait for another chance. 34 to the good. The pressure's on his opponent, Ryan Thompson, here.
This is one of those annoying situations for Ben because there's nothing he can do other than play the same shot, and of course Ryan will just keep playing it as well because he wants a re-rack. Ben doesn't with the 34-point lead.
Touching ball.
I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to play a similar style of shot that the ref may intervene and say, come on lads, one of you's going to have to make a move here. But the touching ball may help Ben because he can try and rest the cue ball in a safe area in the balk area to cover that red, which is what he's trying to do here. So stalemate resolved. More trouble for Ryan unless he can rest the cue ball. Again, it looks like he's not got many options here. Of course, you can see all the reds to the left of the pink, which aren't really much value to him.
Foul. And a miss.
Well, I suppose the only good news there is the black has blocked the red to the pocket, but he's given away the 7 points.
Yeah, and this will be going back because with the black covering the pocket, Ben wants Ryan to play this shot. He wants him to mess it up, of course, and he's having to play a delicate little shot here, thin off the red to the left of the pink. There's no guarantees that he's going to get the coverage. It's probably his only real play, I suppose. He's got to try and get that cue ball basically back to where it is now. That red wasn't that close to the pocket. Even there, I think it was a little bit more out into the table.
No, it was there. The black hit it. It was there. Yeah, but
Got people watching all over the world here, the coverage. Thailand, Rwanda, Australia. Great to have you with us, guys. As we follow all the live action here at the MrQ UK Championship qualifiers. Everyone battling out for a place at the Barbican. Ryan Thomason battling to stay in this game.
I think it was something like this.
They don't have the freeze frame and all that, so they're going to have to work this out themselves.
To be fair, I think Ryan's about right here. I don't think the red was that close to the pocket, but I mean, we're trying to split hairs. It may not make too much of a difference, but it does look a little bit closer than it perhaps was originally. I mean, he's still going to play the same shot. He's still trying to get the cue ball into that corner of the table, so it doesn't necessarily make that much of a difference.
Right. messages.
Well, it's taken a long time, hasn't it, to get this back into position. It is important that it's as close to being right as possible, but as I say, they don't have anything to actually compare it to. There's no screen for them to look at.
I mean, playing this shot, trying to rest on the red is probably... Oh, well, he's playing it at pace. Oh, that's disaster. That could not have finished up any worse for Ryan Thomason.
And Woollaston 4.
He was definitely in trouble there. He felt he had no choice but to try and clip off the red, I suppose. But yeah, a little shake of the head from Ben perhaps wasn't the right shot to play in. But Ben will enjoy that one. Cue ball in hand. A few reds in open play here. Already a 45-point advantage. Fantastic opportunity here to see out this game.
Yeah, and he's playing well enough to suggest he's going to do that. He's really taken control from really the midpoint of frame 3 and has not looked back since, and it's good to see. I mean, he's not won a match on tour since September the 1st, so you know, it's been a long time coming. If he does convert this,
6.
hello to Richard Osman, who's watching, TV presenter, author, who says of you, Stephen, you're a great addition, an absolute natural. How about that?
Well, that is one of the best compliments I've ever had. Thank you very much, Richard.
That is not a pointless comment.
Yeah, nicely played that with the rest from Ben. You felt if it was going to go wrong at any point, it was probably that shot, and he's played it confidently, so just has to mind his business here. He's got this red down the rail, black to follow. And the red just above it, and that will be enough with a black after that.
Yeah, and so often the qualifiers, they are about getting the win, but to win impressively, which he would have done, will give him so much confidence going into the next round against Chow Yu-peng. It's a tough match, but you know, he's not fallen over the line here. He's actually played really well, and that, as I say, will make him feel good going into that match. He's not coming back tonight having to finish off a couple of frames. You know, he's really made a dash for the winning line. Been impressed with him.
Yeah, and he won't be taking any nervous energy or anxiety into his game, having just fallen over the line in this match. As you say, he's won impressively. It's what he's been doing in practice. As I've already mentioned, he played superb against me on Friday, and I felt if he could take that form into this game, he would take some stopping, and he has done, and it's great to see. You know, as a player, I know what it's like myself. You get on a bit of a run of bad results, you know. They say that confidence breeds good results, and it can work the opposite way. If you're losing matches, it can just spiral, and, you know,
30.
Ben's trying to stop that. He's done very well here. It's been a great victory for him.
Yes, he's going to be the first winner actually in this session,
37.
and a thoroughly deserved one.
38.
And these are just enjoyable moments now. The victory lap for Ben, who can of course go home, get himself ready for tomorrow.
45. 46. 51.
He's actually finished off in the end with 5 half-century breaks.
52.
Of because he's seen, obviously, Mark Selby and all his success. Tom Ford recently got to the final of the International Championship, has got himself in the top 16 after over 20 years on tour, 22 years. So things can happen if you're winning matches, and he's won this one impressively.
And so often we see when a player gets over the winning line just how easy this game really is. If you could bottle this, you'd be one of the best players ever. Everything
74.
is so straightforward once you're over that winning line.
79.
Yeah, the highest break in frame to win the match. It all went wrong for Thomason when he missed that black in frame 3. He was in control of that frame, lost it, and Woollaston has done the rest. A 92 clearance from Leicester's Ben Woollaston. He's the first winner in this session here in qualifying for the MrQ UK Championship. A handsome winner at 6-1, and he'll be back tomorrow to play Chow Yupeng in the penultimate round of qualifying. The other matches continue. You can watch tables 2 to 3 on Discovery Plus. So Alexander Ursenbacher 5-2 up on Tianpeng Fei, Oliver Lyons 5-2 up on Long Jihuang, and Mark Joyce 4-3 up on Julian Boyko. You can watch those live on Discovery Plus, and we will be back here on table 1 in just over 2 hours' time. The darling of Dublin, Ken Doherty, 3 times runner-up in the UK Championship, takes on the Welshman Dwayne Jones. So myself, Stephen and Phil will be back 2:30 local time. Thanks for your company in the meantime, and we'll see you later on today.